Angry Joe here, and I'm with Ash Ismail, the game director for Assassin's Creed Black Flag. This is my dream come true. In case you didn't know, I was at the Sony press conference last year, and I was like hooting and hollering my ass off when I saw the naval combat. And I was like, oh man, that's going to be awesome. Got my hands on the game, did a review for it, and basically the best part of the game to me was the naval combat elements, driving your ship, going where you want. So I'm really excited to see a whole game pretty much made out of that. You know, you're a pirate, own your own ship. Can you talk a little bit about, have you added anything to naval combat, maybe improved it, added some elements to it, or is it basically intact?
So about when the naval started in AC3, very early on we did a lot of play testing, so we knew we had something good in our hands. We had really good feedback, but AC3 needed to finish, and we needed to make this system that deeper. And we have a seamless Caribbean open world, so you can pretty much visit almost every location without ever having a loading screen. But to do this, to make it completely open and free for the player, was a big challenge. So about a year and a half ago, we split development from AC3. We took the naval on our side, and we thought, okay, we need to give it more weapons, more enemies to fight, many more different types of ships, because we have a huge Caribbean open world. We want players to completely get lost in this naval world. So for sure, weapons-wise, we have new aiming trajectory for the basic cannons. We have the mortar, the heavy shot, which is kind of like a shotgun in the naval. Shotgun in the naval, how awesome was that? We have swivel guns, we have the ram, we have tons of weapons, and the awesome part is that there's a huge progression around the Jackdaw. The Jackdaw is your ship. It's the second main character of the game.
Nice.
It's the shot ship Enterprise. You need to take care of it,
there have been other pirate games before where literally your ship is just a cutscene in between islands or whatnot. That is not cool with me. So you take control of your ship, you're driving your ship, you enter battles with your ship. Now, can I ask you, what kind of encounters will you run into on the open seas? Is there some mysterious stuff that we may not expect, some sea monsters or something like that, interesting encounters out there in the ocean? Because it seems like it would be like just, not quite a whole lot of things can, appear out there except for, Shamu and dolphins and stuff like that. What can we find out there?
This was our challenge. When we decided to build this huge Caribbean open world, we thought, okay, we need to make sure that at least every single minute something is coming to the player and teasing them and motivating them. You're not forced to interact with it, but you can, because there's a lot of benefit in it for you. So things like storms. Yes, you do get to see whales and dolphins in the ocean.
What about monsters?
Okay, well, we're an AC game. We like to be credible and authentic.
I know.
But let me just say, there's plenty of Easter eggs in this game. Okay, if you look hard enough, if you really push the system, you might find some stuff. But we have storms. We have tornadoes in the ocean. They're called water spouts.
Nice.
They're epic. They're awesome. If you're not careful, lightning might strike you in a storm.
So we were talking about naval combat, and we want to get it because they're trying to rush us. The single-player element. Can we talk a little bit about what's been improved when you actually do get on, an island? Is it a jungle environment? What kind of environments can we expect?
So, our bread and butter is cities, and we have 3 major cities in this game. But in the Caribbean world, we have over 50 locations, and these locations include plantations, forts, caves, underwater shipwrecks, coconut islands. We even have these little sandbanks and uncharted locations, little beaches. We don't even consider those as locations. We have over 75 of those. So the world's really filled with a lot of stuff. Every single location is unique. It's been crafted to have a mood and a feeling. For example, here at A3, we showed off a fisherman village and a Mayan ruin. And these are really unique. The fisherman village was really catered to be, how did people in that time.
So what about multiplayer? Can we expect any multiplayer in that?
We do have multiplayer, but it's the classic multiplayer that we've done on AC. It's very unique in the industry, and we've taken it, we've enhanced it. It's pirate themed. There's new characters, new maps, and there's this new thing called Games Lab, which we're showing here at E3. Players can take a template and customize it as much as they want, so they can create their own game mode and share it with their friends, or not share it if they don't want to. Yeah. So there's a lot of customization you can do. You can really create really specific ways of playing the game. That's cool. For the naval stuff, unfortunately, we tried hard to get naval multiplayer to work. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it right for this game. Well, no, I should say we couldn't polish it properly for this game.
In the future, if it does well.
But that's the thing, you know what? If our fans, if we see people are loving the naval, if people are wanting more of something similar, You never know. You never know. Like I said, we had started it.
Okay, and when does the game come out, and what systems is it going to be for?
So it's going to be releasing on Xbox 360, PS3, Wii U, PC, Xbox One, PS4. Obviously, with the next-gen consoles, it's a launch title, so whenever they release. For the others, in North America, it'll be October 29th.
All right, we're looking forward to playing as, what's this protagonist's name this time?
So this is Edward Kenway.
Edward, and hopefully he's a little bit more interesting than Connor and more charismatic, but we'll see in the game. Thank you guys so much for rushing us here, and we'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. So that was my quick impromptu Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. I realized I was in a private meeting room just for like the business side of stuff, so that I had to cut it short, but I wasn't done. I wanted to know more. I wanted to know more about multiplayer. And if they couldn't do the ships, I wanted to know why for you guys, because that was a big question I got from you. So I went out looking for another guy, and I ended up finding, of course, another heavy hitter, the game director on the multiplayer side, because they use, full-fledged teams for each piece of the game, because, it's almost essentially like two different games. So I got an interview with the multiplayer game director, and this is the interview with that, and he explains more about this huge technical hurdle about making full multiplayer battles among ships. So I'll let the interview speak for itself. Angry Joe here, and I'm with Damien, squeezed in. I got an exclusive interview, grabbed him and pulled him aside. I will not stop until I get your questions answered. So I'm Damien, who heads up the multiplayer side, game director. Can you tell us about some of the new multiplayer features you guys are putting in Black Flag?
Of course. So AC4 Black Flag is all about pirates this year, and it's the same for the multiplayer. So we have a brand new character cast made of pirates, of people coming from Europe to the Caribbean seas. We have also brand new exotic locations thanks to this pirate setting. So for example, the map we are showcasing today is Saba Island. It's like a pirate lair in a cave. And like we do every year, we're a team that like taking risks, and we like really improving our game and improving the formula. And that's what we did again this year. So we did some core improvements, like we've revamped the whole scoring system, and I can go into details about that. And lastly, our big reveal, our big new feature is called the Game Lab.
Yeah, what is this Game Lab?
And so the Game Lab, it's a tool that we give to you guys to create your own mode. So it's a pretty powerful tool. You have more than 200 parameters to play with, and you can mess up with all the existing rules. That's basically it. So for example, what we're showcasing at E3, we have built 3 different modes with the Game Lab to showcase one per day. Today, the mode that we're showcasing is called the Frantic mode. And the whole idea behind the Frantic mode is to exactly do the contrary of what you're doing in the normal mode. So we just remove the scoring in the Frantic mode. No more scoring, no more approach, no more stealthness. Whatever you do gives you only 1 point. So if you kill someone, if you stun someone, if you do a gun finish, it's 1 point. So you want to rush and you want to kill your targets to do the most actions. But if you get contested, it's 0 points for you and the guy who contests.
Gets the point.
So everybody gets 0 if there is a contested.
Okay.
So you want to rush, but you don't want to be spotted.
Right.
So you have to find the right balance. So that's a good example, and you can really do a ton of things. You can trick the rules, you can activate abilities, force abilities to players, or ban abilities, or...
Now, is there, since it's a pirate game, is there any mode centered around treasure or pirates or anything like that?
So the mode we showcased yesterday, also created with the Game Lab, was called the Pistolier mode. And the idea behind this mode is that you couldn't assassinate anymore. We have deactivated the assassination. You could in this mode, yeah. And the only way to kill your target was to use the gun. So everybody's gunning each other, which is very pirate, right? So, and that worked really well, and that's also really changing the pace of how you play, because you want to approach your target, but not too close, because you don't want to get stunned, because it takes time to aim and gun someone and shoot someone. So it's really changing the way you're playing, and that's the whole purpose of the Game Lab.
Now, and that in the previous ones, we've been able to customize our character, unlock new characters, and get achievement points. Are we going to continue that, and are there any improvements to it or additions, even more options to customize?
So customization is a big thing in our game, so of course it will come back. It will come back in a better way. I can't disclose the details now. But with the huge character cast that we have today, there are really cool characters, cool pirates. So you will be able to see back the costumes, the customization on weapon and stuff like that. So everything's coming back.
You get parrots, birds, monkeys. I mean, that would be awesome.
We have pirate stuff. I'm not spoiling it because I let player discover it, but we have pirate customization stuff.
Okay, awesome. And what about DLC? Have you guys talked about any DLC plans for this particular game?
So we're not talking about DLC plan for the moment. What I can tell you is one of the big things we've done last year on AC3 is that we had a post-launch team, and we're supporting the game a lot after it launched, the multiplayer, by adding DLC, but also creating free events, doing turnover on costumes, unlocking new content, and it will be the same this year. We'll have a big support on the game when it launches.
And I think a lot of people out there love the naval battles as well as I do, and we would love to see maybe a multiplayer mode having to do with the ship. So consider that for DLC if enough of us are like, this would be awesome. I mean, you're the multiplayer guys.
Yeah, so it's of course it's a good idea. It's one of the key things of the single player this year, the whole boat, seamless, ground to boats, etc. So it's something we look into. I will be very honest, we look into, but we don't do it and we won't do it because we can't do it technically wise. So I will just explain it very quickly.
Keep working, I know you can do it. Your brain is big.
It's like the boat part on AC3, it has used one single team to do it and to work on it during 3 years. And that's only for a single player game. And then in multiplayer you need to replicate everything, to replicate the physics, because you want to have the wave for everybody at the same place at the right time, so you need to replicate the water physics, and everything was just undoable.
Well, so don't give up, man. Don't give up. Well, I really appreciate your time. Please don't give up on that, because I think that would be really awesome. But thank you so much for speaking with us, and we'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was it. Kind of a sad answer. I mean, they had tried it, and the quality it wasn't up to par, especially with having to render so many different things on the screen. I talked with another guy, in fact, who also told me sort of the same thing, how extremely difficult it was, and that he thinks that it literally would require both teams, the whole team, working on, that, so like it's possibly still possible, if we really want it, and this game does well, or at least the naval portions continue to get praise. I'm sure that they'll notice that, and they'll see that, and then possibly maybe direct a whole team for a game that can or a game mode that does multiplayer battles with ships, because I think that would be pretty awesome. But I did play the game a little bit behind closed doors. I can tell you that Edward does seem a little bit more interesting and charismatic than Connor did. The whole pirate stuff appeals to me a lot more, and I'm hoping that there are just so many more different hidden treasures and Easter eggs in this game, which it has so much more potential for that. And then, of course, sailing the seas and having the counters on the high seas, it should be pretty exciting too. So I'm looking forward to Black Flag. I think it's looking probably potentially better than Assassin's Creed 3, and I just can't wait to get my hands on it. And so that's it for that one. I'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show.
As long as empires generate wealth and riches, we will be there to bleed them dry. Pre-order now for exclusive in-game missions.
disaster.